Hello, everyone. So, we are going to be discussing the Ascended Masters. And bear with me because I'm going to end up breaking this concept into parts because it was a rabbit hole that I did not intend to go down. I was going to do a video on Saint Germain and the Violet Flame, came across a bunch of terms that I wasn't overly familiar with, like Cohon of the Seventh Ray. And I'm like, what's that? How does that apply? So I ended up was like, okay, well, let me back this train up and start at the Ascended Masters, and then came up with a whole bunch of stuff that I was like, I did. So we're gonna break this into pieces, and this is not an all-inclusive video, obviously. A lot of these are internet articles that I have found. I have gripes with the library system, but that's just me. We're gonna, yeah, we're just gonna leave that there. Um, so there's probably information I'm missing, but this is just a general overview of who the Ascended Masters are. I've written out like I think 3 pages worth of notes, 3 or 4 pages worth of notes, and I'm basically I think going to try and summarize them because the Ascended Masters are a group of individuals who have basically ascended out of the rebirth and reincarnation cycle. So these are individuals, they are saints, they are yogis, they are some angels, there are, they come, Buddhas. I don't know what the holy word is in Islam, maybe imams or holy people from it. They come from every religion, every walk of life. They are gods, they are goddesses. There are just a collection of mystics, essentially, that have ascended and have reached a higher consciousness that we all probably try to aspire for. And that is who this group of people is. I was first kind of introduced to this concept from Doreen Virtue's Ascended Master deck. I love this deck. It's probably out of print because I know she's pulled all of her stuff, but this is an absolutely fantastic deck that I work with quite a lot, actually. And so the Ascended Masters are saints, teachers, and adepts from East. They come from everywhere. And so the way this works is you have your karma, and I'm not going to go into karma because I recently found 2 different definitions. It was like karma and karma fet. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. But it was like karma is what you sow. The other word, I think, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong and I'm saying it wrong. And it's probably not even the right version of this word, but it's like the other word for karma fet, karma something, is the outcome of that. So the way this person explained it, I saw this post on Instagram and it's probably now lost into the ether that is the interweb or the interwebs, but it's this concept of one is one thing, and we've misinterpreted this one word because it's one part of 2 words. But be that as it may, so you kind of understand karmas. You put out into the universe, you create this thing, you reap kind of what you sow. I'm sorry, I'm keep closing my eyes. That's how I remember things, to pull information forward out of the recesses of my my mind castle, as Sherlock would say. Um, so there's that. Then there's this concept of reincarnation. And reincarnation is you go through life, and every time you reincarnate, hopefully you reincarnate into a higher form. You are more advanced, and anyone can technically become an ascended master. And you go through supposedly 1 to 4 lifetimes in the human realm. Now, this is where things get a little bit mushy because there are different teachings. So like if you've ever studied the Akashic records or you've ever had an Akashic record reading done, then it might be like you've lived 32 lifetimes on this earth. So obviously that's more than 4. So time is a construct. We'll just go with that. Regardless, you go through these iterations so many times in this form, and then you've managed to hit these beings in particular, or anyone, have managed to hit a point where they have pulled themselves out of the wheel of reincarnation on Earth and are now ascending up to the 5th level. I'm gonna do a video on these levels because I was slightly confused myself, but this is how I'm understanding it. So you go up to this 5th level of ascension in the spirit world, and then from there you ascend. I think the highest you can get to is the 7th level of ascension, or is it the 9th level? What did my notes say? Basically, it's like you become one with the spirit collective, and you no longer have to reincarnate anymore, or you choose not to reincarnate anymore. Then you take someone like the Buddha Kuan Yin, who received ascension and has decided to stay closer to Earth to help people reincarnate and to help people grow and become, grow and ascend amongst them on their own terms. So, so that's basically who the Ascended Masters are. Anyone can do this. Now, I will give you an example of. Now, apparently, also the choirs of angels are included among the Ascended Masters. I saw that on a different website. All of these websites all the resources I used will be in the description. I would kind of like to do a little bit more digging into that because I remember, because St. Michael the Archangel is considered an Ascended Master. However, if you know anything about angel lore or the angels are not human. They were never human. And some people are like, well, how is Archangel Michael an Ascended Master if he is never human? My theory, and people will probably disagree with me, I'll get my keyboard warriors in the comments, I'm sure, where Archangel Michael is acknowledged by the 3 major monotheistic religions, Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, all acknowledge St. Michael the Archangel is one of the great archangels. And I think because he is so close to humanity and deals so closely with humans and is a favorite of so many people, of so many churches, of so many religions, that he has a certain level of experience that maybe the other archangels have not gained, maybe through popularity or through experience. And I think that might have something to do with it. Yeah, I haven't really looked into that, but I remember, because I'm a student of Bradley Valentine, I do remember someone posting that comment. I don't know if he ever answered it. I don't know if he ever saw it and answered it. So, but that's my theory, is that he's just so closely in tune to humanity that he probably has a depth of experience and wisdom that maybe is akin to your guardian angels who are with you every day and have reincarnated with you supposedly through multiple lifetimes. Other ascended masters, Kuan Yin, for example, Jesus, the Mother Mary, or the Blessed Mother, Serapis Bey is a big one, Saint Germain. Let me find Melchizedek, King Solomon from Judaism. Archangel Michael. Then you have a bunch of goddesses. You have like Isis out of Egyptian lore. You have Oshun from African lore. Kings, I said that. Vishnu from Hinduism. Mother Mary, like I mentioned. Saint Germain is a big one. It's a really big one. I'm going to mispronounce this, and I'm sorry. Kuthumi, who I believe is a yogi. Let me see if I can find. Just so I can let you know. Oh, Kuthumi is pronounced. Oh, a Sikh. Okay, so he's a Sikh spiritual leader named Siddhar Thakkar Singh Sandhwali, who lived in India during the 1800s. Okay, so he's Muslim. Lakshmi. Oh, no, that's Angus. So you have Lakshmi from Hindu tradition, and then you have Angus from Celtic lore. You have Hina from Hawaiian tradition. So you have a number of these individuals who are real life. They're goddesses. El Moroya, who I believe is a yogi. Siddhartha Gautama, you have Buddha himself. So, Jesus. You have White Buffalo Calf Woman out of Lakota tradition. Apollo out of the Greek world. And these are just some of the lists. I know I mentioned them. You have Melchizedek. You have Moses. And this is just on this list. Like, there are hundreds of others. You have St. Francis. Ooh. Serapis Bay, like I mentioned. I'm sorry if you're getting a glare off the light. Merlin from Welsh and British tradition. Thoth from Egyptian. Hang on, I have to look up how to pronounce her name. Some of these names. Hang on, 1 second. Please hold. Oh, they don't give me a pronunciation. Thank you so much. So, Paramashana Yogananda. Oopsies. There's another one. She's a very popular yogi. And there are lists of others. I don't know how many ascended masters there are, but there are quite a few. This is just, a deck. There are lists of others. And these are, essentially these are beings that you can work with, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video. You can work with the ascended masters. You can work with them collectively. If you find that there is an ascended master that you are particularly drawn to, you can work with that person to just help maybe manifest something, to help on your soul path, to help you achieve spirituality. Now, one of the arguments that I saw was that these people are taking the place of God and divinity. They are not. They are not trying to replace God and divinity. They are not on par with God and his presence in your life, whether it's, the God, the goddess, whatever word you use for your higher power. These are not going to circumvent that. What their job is to do is to help you to get closer to that divinity, to help you channel the divinity within, to get closer to your higher self, to your own spirituality, to help you become the person you are meant to be in this life and in the next life, and to help you to become closer to God in the process of that. It's really the only way I can say it. And that is essentially a lot of what my notes are, is that these are, just to quote one of the things I read, the ascended masters are saints and teachers and adepts of East and West, from all religions and cultures, who lived on earth and now reside in the heaven world to advocate and express God's will, wisdom, and love throughout the world. They passed major initiations of the spiritual path, graduated from Earth's schoolroom, and returned by free will to the heart of God through the sacred ritual known as ascension. Through the ascension process, the soul expresses a complete liberation from the ramifications and from the needs and whatnot of this earthly plane. From karma and rebirth, these individuals merged with their higher selves and the God consciousness that resides in each of us and experiences freedom from the karmic gravitational pull of Earth, entering into the bliss of the eternal. So this is essentially like when you die, you rejoin the spirit collective until such a point where you decide to reincarnate. What they've basically done is they've decided, they have ascended past all that. They've learned the lessons they need to learn on Earth, and now they can help you learn the lessons that you need to learn and how to do so with grace, with wisdom, with poise, and with love, to not overburden yourself with bitterness and grief and anger and rage, so that you can operate from a higher perspective. Are you always going to be able to do that? Probably not, because you're human. And we all tend to give in to our egos. No matter how hard we work, some days it's just a backslide into old habits. It is what it is. Sometimes it feels like all the hard work I've done has been undone. And then you just get back up, you shake yourself off, and you start again. And that's the role that they play. So yeah, that is essentially like, they communicate with us through their devotees in the heart center, moving through heart streams, which are updates to the minute messages and teachings. Basically, this sounds more like downloads. Like if you, you'll hear this more from, I think, mediums, shamans, channel mediums. It's claircognizance. We'll get stuff like that. It's like a spiritual download. It's when you've been through something, or actually, I feel like artists probably get this a lot too. If you are close enough and you are connected to yourself, your higher self in some degree, you'll get what are known as spiritual downloads. Everyone gets them from time to time. Some people will get them more regularly because they try to stay connected more. A lot of times you'll get them when you're sleeping. You might get like those flashes of brilliance when you're sleeping. You may get them when you're daydreaming. That to me is kind of what the heart messages are, is that the messages and whatnot, where that's what it sounds like to me. It's just a download from the ascended masters. And they could even be your own personal guides, because some of these beings will step forward to be spirit guides, to be teachers for you. So you'd have to do a meditation to find that. And a lot of this information just repeats itself, which is why I kind of decided to wing it on this video, but that is the crux of it. Basically, that's who these ascended masters are. I will do following videos on like, there were some, like, I think Saint Germain was like the Kohan of the seventh ray. So I will go through what maybe the levels of ascension are, if it's clear enough, if it's not all jumbled, what the, the different rays are. So there will be other videos about this probably before I get to the violet flame and Saint Germain, which will also probably then dovetail into the law of attraction, because he was a big one for the law of attraction. If anybody can help me find the book, The Violet Flame, please let me know, because maybe it's just under his name. I have to try and look again. I got really disgusted and stopped looking. But yeah, if someone can give me like a title, like I think that is the title, The Violet Flame. If it's just Saint Germain and the Violet Flame or whatever, I have to do some digging. But if any of you have good recommendations for like research books or books on it, please let me know in the comments. I'm happy to hear them. Oh, the other thing is, and this comes up a lot in the Violet Flame teaching, is the great I am statement. And I do want to go more into that with all of you, because it's a self-worth thing. It's an acknowledgement of how worthy I am, I am spirit, I am. It comes up, but they don't really explain it, and I will make sure I explain it, because I don't know how familiar people are with the great I am, statements. So, all right, I'm going to cut this off here. Enough of my babbling. Thank you for sticking around, and I will see you all very soon. Okay, take care. Bye.